So thank you everybody for joining us today, and so glad that you're here to be with us for our meditation. And we're very pleased to have with us Dr. Leili first, who is a student of Sufism and a longtime member of the International Association of Sufism and the Sufi Women Organization. She's given lectures on Sufism at colleges and universities, presented at the annual Sufism Symposium and the Parliament of the World's Religions. And we're very blessed to have her on our MIC board. She was actually on our MIC board from 2003 to 2008 and has been back on our board since 2014. And she's currently serving as the president of our board of directors. So Leili, we are so thrilled to have you with us today, and thank you for leading our meditation.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much. And thank you to Janice and Lynn, who are helping with the logistics for all this. Hold on, I'm going to switch back to the gallery view so I can see everybody. And thank you to the First Presbyterian Church, who hosts us, even in these times when we're not physically present there. And I would like to share my gratitude for this opportunity to share teachings that are really precious to me and have been guided my life for actually a good chunk of my adult life for more than 30 years. And I'm grateful for my teachers, Sede Dr. Nahid Anga and Shanazar Sayed, Dr. Ali Kyamfar, who are the founders of International Association of Sufism. And they are both Sufi masters, incredibly wise, kind, compassionate, wonderful people who guide my practice. So welcome to all of you. Thank you all for coming. This is really nice to be together. So in accordance with the usual way we do these meditations for MIC, we have a great respect for ourselves and for others. Anything that is shared during this time together is private amongst us and will not be carried outside of this environment. And you can participate as you wish. If you like to just listen and participate in the meditation without making any comment, that's fine. At the end, we'll have time for comments and questions, reflections. If you'd like to share, that's fine too. So for this evening, as I was preparing, I'm thinking we're going through a lot right now. We're in the middle of this pandemic, the huge economic consequences, which probably affect a lot of people, and then most recently, the tragic death of George Floyd. So in the light of all that, just for this little bitty short time that we have together, I would like to invite us all to let go of everything outside of our own selves and return to a place of peace, tranquility, safety, and wisdom within us. And excuse Owen. Owen likes to participate when he can. This is Owen. And he likes to put his tail up in the picture. So kind of try to ignore him. And he will soon settle into a place of peace and tranquility himself. So let us enjoy this brief respite in the midst of a difficult time. So I'd like to start by sharing a phrase from this, if you can see, is a book that I read pretty much every day. It's The Seasons of the Soul. Dr. Kyamfar put together. It's quotes for every day. And I won't share the one for today, but there's one from March 10th that I'd really like to share with you all. In the heart of every human being is a direct connection with God. Our greatest blessing comes in discovering this. And that's in a nutshell, that's Sufi meditation. So just really briefly, because I think I probably have met many of you before, and maybe in this context, about Sufism, which is the inner path of Islam, and about Islam. As you probably are aware, Islam began about 1400 years ago with the revelations that were received by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And he used to sit at a platform in Mecca, and the people who were very, very interested in learning his way of being and his way of learning and becoming so that he could receive revelations directly from God. Those people would sit at his feet at the base of the platform pretty much daily to receive teachings directly from him. And in Arabic, the platform is Sufa or Sufa. My pronunciation is probably terrible. But the people who sat at his feet then became known as Ale Sufa, the people of the platform. And it's felt that that's probably most likely the origin of the name Sufi. Oh, wait, he didn't like that. Although there are several different variations that you may find if you do research on the origin of the word Sufi, that's probably the most accurate. So after the death of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, the people who had learned directly at his feet went back to their homes, which covered many, many lands all over the Middle East and further. And they became the ones who carried the original message, which is following the inner teachings. That's the Sufi message. And then they founded many different orders, and each order of Sufis and Sufism has its own particular practices that they emphasize. You may know the Mevlevi order or the whirling dervishes. You may know the Naqshbandi Sufis or the Qadiri, Rifai, Shadiliya. But they're all different groups that follow a close variation of that direct path of Sufism, kind of like the fragrances of all the flowers, where there would be slight variations, but one common theme through all the different orders and practices of Sufis is meditation. And meditation is the foundation for all of the different orders, along with prayer and remembrance, which is known as zikr or zek. It has different pronunciations, but it's the chanting and repeating of the names of God. You probably are familiar with at least some of the Sufi poets. Rumi is, I think last I saw, is the best-selling poet in the West. And he's definitely a Sufi practitioner. And his followers they are the Mevlevis, the whirling dervishes, from his name, and it's actually the title Mevlana. So the Mevlevi order takes its name from the title Mevlana, and they try to follow the practices of Rumi, who did his meditation in a form of ecstasy with that turning practice that you see. If you have a chance to see the whirling dervishes, they are emulating his practice as a way of meditation. So meditation. MIC has different people teaching meditation practices every month. Probably many of you have participated in different kinds of meditation. There's all different ways of doing meditation, and every form of meditation has its own goals. And they all can be very useful practices for relaxation or for focusing, for concentration. There are many, many different goals. And the form and instruction of meditation is different according to the goals and the practices. Excuse me. For Sufis, the goal of meditation is to find that connection, reminding in the heart of every human being is a direct connection with God. Our greatest blessing comes in discovering this. So for Sufis, the goal of meditation is quieting the mind and focusing all of the attention in the heart in order to make that connection. We'll be doing a heartbeat meditation where we're listening for our heartbeat. And one reason for doing that, besides the fact that we want to draw all of our energy within to our chest, to our heart, meaning our physical heart, that's the main goal of the meditation. Also, when you listen for your heartbeat, that is your certain confirmation that you are alive. From the very moment of conception, when the sperm and the egg meet and they join, and the fetus, the embryo is formed, the first thing that is formed is the long tube that turns back on itself and it becomes the heart. And I've forgotten now, maybe some of you know, is very, very early in the time that the heart, the little tiny tube that's not much more than that, it receives the breath of life and it begins to beat. And that is the first, that's very, very beginnings of life. It's very, very early after conception. And that is the beginning of life. And we live through our whole lives in this body. The fetus grows and grows and gets more complex and develops into what we recognize as a body. And then it's born, and then we are a tiny infant, and we grow and grow and grow. And then sooner or later we get old. Not much later, actually, much, much later, we get old. And at the end of life, what marks the end of life is the end of the heartbeat. It's not the brain. As brilliant as our brain likes to think it is, and as much as it likes to take over and be in control of everything, the controller of life is our heart. So when we actually listen to our heartbeat, does any of us do that ever? Do we ever just sit and listen to our heartbeat? I don't know about you people, but I never have. That's something I don't do. And it's a little bit hard to actually hear your heartbeat. But you can feel your pulse in your wrist or your neck. But to actually hear your heartbeat is a little bit tricky. That's what we do in the meditation, the heartbeat meditation. And again, one main reason for that is the confirmation. You know, with absolute certainty, you know you're alive. And that's actually a big deal, because how much do we ever actually know with absolute certainty? Not so much. The brain thinks it knows a lot of things, and it's wrong a lot of times. And our senses lead us astray. And I'm sure you've all seen demonstrations of that, like with the optical illusions, where you see different colors or, different shape that you could see it this way or that way. And the eyes, it's part of their job. They play tricks on us because of the way the brain is made and the optic functioning. It completes the picture when it's partial. Same with our ears. I was listening to descriptions of listening to music, and our ears can't actually capture all the different sounds that we hear. They fill in. The brain fills in the missing sounds. The brain fills in the missing parts of the picture so that it's not 100% completely accurate reflection of what was in front of it. It cheats. We don't know for certain. The certainty we have is our own heartbeat. So that's one part of it. And another part of it that helps with meditation is it gives your mind something to do. Because I know probably for most of us Sufi meditators, the biggest challenge is making the mind quiet. We don't do mindfulness, we do heartfulness. We want the mind to take a rest, just take a break. And that's not what the mind is designed to do. The mind is designed to be a problem solver. And that's useful. For life in this world, we need the mind. We need our senses. That's how we navigate the world. It's a good thing. But the mind, if it doesn't have a problem to solve, probably we've all experienced it, it will just create a problem so that it has something to do. And the mind likes to make itself very important and be in charge. And that's the way our society is designed. It puts so much emphasis on our mind that we forget about our heart. So part of the focus for successful meditation for Sufis is if you can make your mind busy listening to your heartbeat. It won't disturb you. So it'll cooperate with your heart, and let your heart take over. Maybe just for this short time, let your heart take over and be in charge. Let it set the rule. Let it get that divine connection all the way to the beginning, all the way to the creation, to the creator, that spark of life that was put in. Probably you've read in the Bible, it describes the same in the Quran, that God made the human being from the lump of clay and breathed into it with his own breath. It's the breath of God. That's the spark at conception, the spark of life, and that in light also. That's what we aim for to connect with in our heart. So that's the goal of Sufi meditation, and that's what we will be practicing. So I want to share with you one more reading, and then we'll actually do a practice. And this is from a book, Sufi Wisdom. It is a collected words of Sufi master Dr. Anga. Be clear for the goal of spiritual meditation. Relaxation is a different goal than divine inspiration. The latter requires a different intention, a readiness, devotion, and inspiration, remembering that ultimately it is the divine who guides one towards divinity. In Sufism, the law of meditation follows the essential rule of self-discovery, and that happens when a seeker is attracted and attuned towards the divine. All of one's meditative energies are concentrated and focused towards the divine. One will find peacefulness and freedom in such meditation, but that is not its only goal. Instead, the goal is to gain the knowledge that enables one to understand the divine, the all-knowing, all-embracing, merciful, and compassionate. In your meditation concentration, you are creating a magnetic system of spiritual value around yourself, so you will be connected to spiritual waves and energies that surround you. Okay, so did that make sense to everybody, that you follow that? That it is, Sufi masters understand, which is way beyond me, that there are fields of energy that are not well understood by science, but are around us all the time, literally around us. And part of the regular practice of meditation is to set yourself in a place and time and space where you set a suitable receiver, like tuning the radio, the TV to a station, where you can receive those spiritual energy waves. Just like if you don't have a TV set, or the TV set is turned off, you don't see pictures, but they're there. Those waves are still in there, floating around in space somewhere. And only if you tune into them, you can see them. We are trying to set up ourselves, our actual bodies, ourselves, as a suitable receiver for the spiritual waves. So one more thing I want to make sure and tell you before I get sidetracked is that for the successful meditation for the Sufi practitioner, it requires a clear intention, that your intention is to connect with the divine within yourself at that point in your heart. And it does, over time, it does require the guidance of a teacher to, mostly I see it for me as protection from my brilliant mind, because our minds are so powerful and they fool us and they make images and can mislead us. And the farther you travel in a spiritual journey, the more potential risk there is. You're opening yourself up, And you want to be open to the right energy, not your brilliant mind. You know how you have weird dreams sometimes that don't make any sense? Yeah, that's the brilliant mind. So the teacher is required for guidance for a longer term Sufi practice. However, we will begin with the heartbeat meditation, which will help to draw you within yourself. And hopefully, no matter what else, you will receive some centering and peacefulness in this, because if we can see that light, that point in our own heart, in our center, definitely it is a place of wisdom, and it is a safe place. It's a place of balance. Okay, so before we begin with the meditation, are there any questions? Or anyone wants to make any comments? I'll stop for a moment. Does anyone wish to speak? No? Okay. Then let us find a place where you're comfortable. Hopefully you're probably all pretty comfortable right now. There's not a strict rule on this. The one rule is back straight. Keep your back very straight. Other than that, just be comfortable. You can tuck your feet in under. I happen to be sitting cross-legged on a chair. You can tuck your feet in if you like. And now if we were all together in a room, I would invite you to close your eyes to give yourself privacy and to give others privacy. But since we can only see each other on a screen, as you wish. If you would like to close your eyes, you may do so. Otherwise, I think just soften your gaze, because you don't want to be distracted by whatever's going on around you. You want to try to focus all of your energy within. And when we go through daily life, we're scattering our energy all about us all the time. So many distractions, colors, movement, things to look at, things to listen to. Now is our time to withdraw all of that energy, because it takes a lot of energy to travel spiritually. We need to gather it all for our own selves. So try not to be distracted by anything around you. Close your eyes if you wish, and we'll start to begin to draw our energy within our own selves. So first of all, we can start by just being aware of our breathing. A breath is the way when we breathe in, we focus on bringing in the light and pure energy from those spiritual waves around us. We know it's our breath that feeds our heart. It's how we get oxygen into our lungs, into our hearts. So just focus on your breath. Just breathe naturally. Breathing in, breathing out. We let out all the things, the toxins from our body. Let's also let out any stress, any thoughts, anything that doesn't belong to us, which is pretty much everything. When it comes right down to it, all that's outside is part of our daily life, but it's not part of our essence. So breathe in the light and the good energy. Breathe out toxins, worries, concerns, even your likes and dislikes. Even things we like are just a distraction sometimes. Then if you like, you can gradually scan over your body, looking for any places where stress is hiding. You can start with your toes, your feet. Just focus your attention there for a moment. Breathe in and send the breath there to go flush out any tightness, any strain from your calves, Your knees. Knees can be a real problem. So let's breathe in to the knees. Some healing, some light. Breathe out any aches and pains and stresses. My thighs and hips. I've been sitting, zooming all day long. Maybe we've been out walking. Let's breathe in. Release any stress there. Release any tightness. And the core of your body needs to be strong to hold you up, but it needs to not be under stress. So let's thank our core for holding us up. Breathe into it. Light, strong energy. Breathe out any tightness. And our chest. Let the chest be open but relaxed. Let it feel like good, clean air breathing in. Releasing anything negative, any tightness. Shoulders. If you're like me, you get tightness in your shoulders and upper back. Focus some breath in there and let it go. All the way down your arms, all the way to your fingertips. They're useful. They help you on the computer. They help you plant petunias. Thank them. Breathe into them. And your neck. And your head. Home of that brilliant mind. Thank your head. Thank your brilliant mind. It's important. It's useful. Breathe into it and let it relax. Let it take a little break. And now gather all your energy. Bring it towards your chest. Bring it towards your heart. Listen. See if you can hear your heartbeat. One thing that might help is to hold your breath for a few moments. Sometimes that makes it easier to hear your heartbeat. Listen to your heartbeat. Listen to your heartbeat. Listen to your heartbeat. Listen to your heartbeat. And now I invite you to take a deep breath, gently breathing in, fill your lungs, and release. And again, another nice deep breath and gradually come out of this state back to this world. When you're ready, you may open your eyes and rejoin the group. I have to tell you, I was just overcome by a very strong feeling of warmth and love for all of you. Thank you for sharing these moments with me. And so now if our host, because I have no idea how to do these things, would be so gracious as to allow people to unmute any reflections.